The first game of the World Championship finished after 7 hours and 115 moves in a draw. How will that marathon affect the second game? Will the players still have the energy for a full-on battle? World champion Magnus Carlsen played very solidly with white, the classical Queen's Gambit, but it seemed that Fabiano Caruana came to the board well armed. He played sharply and quickly and caught the world champion in a slightly unusual position. Magnus consumed a lot of time in solving these new problems.
What exactly did you miscalculate?
No, I mean, it was very simple. I just missed bishop d6 and queen c3.
Oh, okay.
So here, I mean, I just had to go in full grovel. But fortunately, I haven't messed up my position too bad.
In this complex position, Magnus Carlsen had a difficult choice. He probably knew that his best chance to go for a win was to make this temporary piece sacrifice here. So the knight takes the pawn in front of the king. Of course, this has to be taken because the knight hits rook and bishop. So king takes knight. Then bishop takes bishop. Black takes back. And we give a check. The king returns. And now white can actually win the piece back with pawn here. Of course, if the knight moves, then the rook can take the rook. It's pinned. So black probably just has to develop here. So bishop here. And white takes the piece back. And here, black has quite a choice. You can take the pawn in the middle. You could take the pawn here at the side with the bishop. You can also play queen takes pawn. I mean, it's very, very complicated. Normally, I would say this is the kind of continuation that Magnus would go for, because at least he's managed to damage the pawn cover in front of black's king. But clearly he didn't want to risk it because he knew that he'd been caught in the preparation of Caruana. He was already consuming a lot of time. And instead of this, he played a calmer move. Let's just put the pieces back. So instead of sacrificing here, or a temporary sacrifice, Carlsen simply played the bishop here. Of course, the bishop stands very well on this diagonal, cutting across the board, but it does allow a simplification. So the knight in the middle took. This was the game continuation. Pawn recaptured. And the bishop took the knight in the middle. The rooks were exchanged, so a mass exchange of pieces. Carlsen took back. And the queen came here. Now, of course, in playing in this way, Carlsen understood that he's actually a little bit worse in this position because these pawns are slightly weaker than black's. But he also knew that the position was under control and that he'd be able to hold this position easily, which he did after 3 hours play. So honours even after 2 games. Sunday's a rest day and they play the third day on Monday.